Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Brian for Breaking Down Security. As with me this week is just Miss Amanda Berlin.
Hi.
I don't know where Mr. Betcher is. I texted him. I sent him a Slack message, and you know what? He might...
Aliens.
That's probably what it is. Formatted his drive and sent him malware.
Yep.
Womp womp. Nah, he's probably exhausted from the new BDIR that got dropped this week.
Oh, right.
Did you listen to that one? It had Katie Nichols on it.
I didn't, but I need to.
Yeah, it's talking about the attack matrix. So
yeah, it's kind of something I'm working on right now. So that would probably be good for me to listen to.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, actually, I'm going to be taking an extended vacation. I'm actually the person that signed up
Didn't you just take a vacation?
No, I'm taking a special vacation. I'm actually the person that I paid Elon to, fly around the moon and stuff. So that was me.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'd like to thank our patrons for all their help.
Wow, yeah, this podcast makes a shit ton of money, right?
Yeah. It makes a fair bit of coin. Yeah. Yeah. We've made ones of dollars, ones of dollars. Yeah. No, Elliot actually upgraded his support. So that was pretty cool. He gave us a bit extra money this month. So I appreciate that. Yeah. Of course, that all goes to, hosting fees and time and effort and that kind of stuff. And, Slack time being on Slack.
On top tech talent like us.
Yeah, and, paying for Miss Berlin's royalty fees and stuff, because every time I invoke her name, it's another 20 cents in the pot. So
right.
Yeah. All right. So I've got a little sinus thing going on. I think it's a change in the weather, but I'm swimming kind of in a haze here. But
we got this.
We're gonna push through. We're gonna push through. So I had an email from a listener. His name's Steve, and he said that, and it's kind of a scenario thing, because I don't know, I work for a company that does pen tests, and I haven't come up with anything like this before, but I was wondering maybe Miss Berlin has come up with things in the past at her companies that may be somewhat applicable to this. So Steve writes, he's a pen tester for a company in the Midwest and did an engagement about 6 months ago. This week, the contact from that previous company called his boss and told him they found a vulnerability in something they supposedly tested. As he was the only one on the engagement, it came down to him to produce what was done versus the scope. So he said this was 6 months ago, obviously, so he had very little to go on other than the final report and some emails to refer to. Fortunately, he says it ended on a good note. He said, we found the item in question was modified by their team a couple months after testing, and that introduced the vulnerability. He says, I know you work for a pen test company. You, Brian, he sent that to me. How do you handle these kinds of things? Company was great and stood by me, but I wonder how I can shield myself from things like this in the future. Well, okay, Ms. Berlin says 6 months is a while ago.
Yeah, I mean... In vulnerability terms, 6 months, heck, a couple weeks is a while.
Right.
And pen test stands up to like that current time.
Right. He doesn't also talk about what kind of vulnerability it was. He just says he found a vulnerability in something they tested. So, it could be... it depends on the severity of the vulnerability. I'm not sure why they would come back 6 months later and dog the company or dog the person, but maybe they made some changes that they hadn't expected. So
it had to be in like a configuration thing.
Yeah,
I'd imagine, not like, oh, this is a new vulnerability that just came out.
Yeah. Or one of the things that I've seen, at least in the few months that I've been here, is at Leviathan is API changes. Companies will make API changes like out the yin yang, per week. It'd be like, oh, we've changed this API, or we've created a whole new API. And it's like, well, you didn't put that API into our scope. So, if we have time, we'll test it, but that's not going to be something we're going to be testing, putting on the burner, on the front burner in many cases.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, that's additional time. evaluating an API is a 1 to 2 day event, and that's a fairly big chunk on a 2-week engagement. So. So one of the things that I was thinking of on the way home, and I was talking to some of my pen test friends there at my company, was they were taking notes. So when you're taking notes, there's things called what is that?
A train.
Oh,
Sorry.
It's a train. Okay. One of the things that some of our compliance people do is called working papers, and what they it's like notes about the engagement. Almost like a status report, what you tested that day, what you tested. Other notes could be like burp suite states. So if you've got some of the testing you've done in Burp, if you have Burp Pro, you can save the state table or the state information, and be able to pull that up later, which is often helpful in in an engagement kind of environment. You can also grab your bash history. If you're doing Linux, you can do command line logging and output all that.
I'd have to, otherwise I'd forget.
Well, yeah.
Even by the time my report comes around, I'd end up forgetting things, I think, if I didn't have that history.
Oh, yeah. My big thing is I take a ton of screenshots. I have, and sometimes it's just useless stuff, or it'll be like, I want to show somebody something. So, in Windows, I actually use something called GreenShot, which I know some of people I know use, because as much as I want to like the screenshot application in Windows, the one natively just blows. It's not very good for me. So I map it to Control-Shift-4, and then I can take a region area, and I take a ton of screenshots when I'm doing anything that making how-tos or videos, or just saying, hey, look at this thing, and it's a cat meme. I take a screenshot, and I've got several hundred sitting on my MacBook here. So screenshots, notes, logging, screen captures are great. If you don't want to do screenshots, you could do recording your desktop. I know that Kali Linux has G record desktop or something like that. But
I feel if you're like the pen test company, though, doing that for every pen test, right. That's like unsustainable, I'd imagine.
Well, I mean, for short things, like if it was a really high priority thing and you wanted to show good coverage, you'd be like, okay, here's us doing 15 minutes of burp fuzzing of this API, just to show you that what our methodology. Instead, if maybe you don't want to write a report, maybe a little 15-minute video or a 10-minute video showing your methodologies on how you're testing all the APIs could be helpful. So. Good organizational skills. I don't remember writing some of these. Did you write those?
Yeah, I wrote all that.
Okay. I was like, wow, this is really nice. I don't even remember writing that. Okay.
Yeah, I wrote that earlier.
Yeah, no, good organizational skills. Yeah, having people tout the clean desk environment, but I think having a clean environment, having something that, you don't have papers strewn about all over your desk, and
all those screenshots you're taking and all the notes you're taking should probably go all in one directory.
Right. All in one directory.
Missing stuff.
Yep. So yeah, one of the things I suggested to our team actually that may work for Steve would be encryption of all of this stuff, especially depending on where you're storing it. So if you're just storing it on a server somewhere, or if you're a shop that's a little smaller and you're just using like Google Drive or something, you definitely want to encrypt that, or have some additional controls in place, because if you store it for any length of time, as many people who are pen testers know, not all those vulnerabilities are patched by the companies that you engage with. Sometimes they're never patched. So Somebody gains access to your client, working papers or your client notes or whatever. And, stop
I think
laughing
we've
at me.
gotten like people playing podcast bingo are going to have a field day with this.
God, that sucks, man.
There's crickets, trains, and Slack so far.
Slack notifications, yeah. But yeah, using some kind of encrypting container, perhaps. If you're on Linux, you may use Lux. Vercrypt is also a very good one if you're using on a Windows. I haven't found any reason to not trust it yet. So, I think the problem at this point is how long do you want to keep that stuff? I mean, like you have a good point. You know, a pen test 6 months ago could conceivably be some issues there where, you know, they've made changes.
A few years. I mean, as long as you're not doing, you know, full desktop captures for hours on end.
Right.
I don't see why you can't keep that stuff for at least a few years.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, most of it's text, maybe images, but for the most part, that's nothing as far as space is concerned.
That's a fair point. Yeah, I would definitely, I can see that. Yeah, you might also want to make sure that, any artifacts you keep are protected by the contract as well. So some contracts actually do require you to retain that kind of stuff for discovery purposes, e-discovery purposes. So something bad happens, they get breached, they're going to come back to you guys and say, hey, we need to know everything that you tested on that engagement. So you need to produce that. And if you can't produce it, then that can cause additional issues as well. So, it behooves you, Steve, to, if you're listening, to, I hope he's still listening, to, check that out, make sure that people are, doing what's necessary at your company, make sure you're doing what's necessary to protect yourself, because your company may not want to implement something like this, but it may be something you want to do to CYA. So, is there anything else we can think of?
No, but it'd be interesting to know how many pen testers actually do log their whole command line when they pen test.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've never done a pen test, so I just know that I would have to.
Right. Well, I mean, you can just take the bash history, right? Or, well, how do you do that on Windows, though?
No, I mean, not bash history is just going to give you the commands you've run, not the results.
Oh, I see. So what is that command that you use for that? What is it? Linux CLI.
It's been a while since I've needed to use it.
Record terminal. Somebody's screaming. I'm sorry for the person screaming on the script. Script. Yeah, that's it. Script and script replay commands in Linux can help you record commands and their output printed on your terminal in a given session. Copy. I'll put that link in the show notes. Yeah, so many little commands that you can learn about. Basic syntax of script command. Script options -timing equals timing file output to log file. There you go.
Yep.
Alrighty then. That's very nice.
And like Windows has the same thing. You can log all your command line stuff.
Really?
Pretty sure. Like in PowerShell.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess if you're using PowerShell. Is there anything PowerShell doesn't do?
I don't know.
Record terminal. Record PowerShell CLI. In Windows. Create a transcript of what you do in Windows PowerShell. Holy cow, there it is right there. Start-transcript. Oi. That's simple. Initializes the transcript file and creates a record of all subsequent actions in the PowerShell session. Use the following syntax. Ding. Stop transcript. Stops recording action in the session. Finalizes transcript. Use the following syntax. Stop-transcript. All right.
There we go.
Well, today I've learned.
I wonder if that transcript is also the results, or if it's just the PowerShell commands.
No, it seems like it would. It automatically does the output of everything. So, I mean, there's only one way to find out, but I'm a little lazy right now.
I'm not gonna do it right now.
I don't want to pop up a Windows VM right now when I'm trying to record. So,
yeah.
too many things. So you said 6 months is a while ago. What happened? Okay, so let me think of this. I'm the company, and I come back to the pen testing firm, and I say, "Oh, you guys didn't test this. We were completely hosed." Is that not due diligence on their part to find out what got tested or what got changed in the 6 months between that pen test and this one to make sure that...
I think a lot of people probably just jumped to the conclusion that it wasn't their fault, maybe. I don't know.
I do.
It couldn't have been us changing it, and they must have missed it.
Right.
I can't believe they didn't miss it.
Right. And according to Steve's email, he said that they found out the item in question was modified by their team a couple of months after our testing. And that introduced the vulnerability. So it could be an API or a code change that they did that they introduced the vulnerability. But I mean, they wasted a ton of time on and hurt a relationship by reaching back to a company to, blame their people, I mean, this could have gone badly for Steve if his company had been like, well, Steve, you're an S-bag, you're not testing stuff right or whatever. And actually, it sounds like Steve ended up okay because his company is cool like that. But yeah, and that damages a relationship. Does that pen test company want to work for that company knowing that they could possibly be blamed for work in the future? So
right,
yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, a lot of good links here in the show notes to transcript on PowerShell. Encryption of reports should be a requirement. Did I put that down at the bottom?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
We already talked about that though.
Well, no, I don't mean just encryption of the artifacts. I think it's necessary to encrypt everything, including the reports. So, anyway. So, let's see. You had a story you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Which one is this one all about?
Oh, all about attribution.
Attribution. I love it.
Yeah, so the Department of Justice was actually announced specific criminal charges that they were going to file against a North Korean spy for WannaCry and the Sony hack.
Oh, I feel sorry for that guy. Kind of.
He looks super nice.
Yeah, he looks like he's okay. I mean, so
I wonder if we could get him on the podcast.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to be possible. Dear leader won't let him talk to American media. So, yeah. What did they get out of that, though? WannaCry was fairly, active but I mean, right. What did they get out of the 2014 Sony Pictures Entertainment hack? Was that the Dictator film?
No idea.
Was that the Dictator film or whatever? I forget.
It happened around then, I know.
Yeah, I can't believe that was almost 5 years ago.
I know.
Reddit post appeared. Wow. Okay. So riskbasedsecurity.com. Here's a link to a breakdown and analysis of the December 2014 Sony hack. So a whole timeline. And I mean,
the link to the article on Hacker News, like they have some pretty cool charts.
Yeah.
On like what the account attack infrastructure looked like what his actual, like there's Facebook accounts and email addresses and Twitter and all that kind of stuff, and kind of tying it all back to the one account. So right. Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
So he didn't do a very good job with the OSINT.
Or he should have done better, tracks. I guess. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So apparently that one Gmail account was fairly active. Wow. Yeah, he had quite a footprint. I would maybe he just got sloppy, or maybe he just didn't care.
For WannaCry, if you look, it says operational attack infrastructure. There's like 50, 60 accounts there.
Right.
Like that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So the hack was done in retaliation for the studio's production of comedic film The Interview, comedy about two journalists recruited by the CIA to assassinate their leader. Let's see. Yeah, so it was devastating. The company exposed 200 gigs of confidential data, including upcoming movie scripts, sensitive employee data, celebrity phone numbers, and also high-quality versions of 5 then unreleased films. Okay, well, I guess that's kind of a big deal. I know. I don't have a lot of love for the movie industry, but so what we're learning,
pretty damaging,
Yeah. So what we're learning is he was indicted in absentia, because I doubt he came over here to get read his rights, or get his Miranda rights read to him. So he won't be traveling to a country with an extradition treaty with the U.S. anytime soon, maybe he was just one of the unlucky ones that, how many others are, taking over from where he left off,
Right.
There's 300,000 hospitals, corporations, government agencies in 150 countries in 3 days for WannaCry. That's crazy. Yeah. The problem is he ain't the only person that did WannaCry. It's like a whole organization, but he's like the sacrificial lamb in this case. So.
Jeez, oh Pete.
What? That's the sound of industry, okay?
It's so loud.
That's okay.
This is how you can tell I have my windows open and it's nice enough to not have the air conditioning on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's been in the low 60s here, which it's been freaking freezing for me, which is probably why I have my cold. So, and when the weather changes, I end up dying. So,
yeah.
So was there anything else you wanted to talk about with the North Koreans?
No, I don't think so.
You know what? It's funny. We actually have downloads from North Korea on our Libsyn. So somebody has downloaded and listened to our podcast. Hello, North Korea.
No, they have to be like going through proxy or something.
No. I want to say we had at least 1 or 2 downloads. I mean, even Greenland hasn't downloaded our podcast yet. So that makes me sad. But North Korea, I think we've got a few.
It's interesting.
I know. Makes me wonder who's actually listening. Noticed I always use the term dear leader.
The supreme leader is listening.
Supreme dear leader. Yeah.
Or maybe it's the dude. Maybe it's the dude that.
Oh, you mean that did all this?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, he's big now on the internets. He's big now on the internets. So anyway, so let me see. Let me see. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got it mixed up with South Korea. We have 20 downloads in South Korea. Nobody in North Korea has downloaded this yet.
That's a little bit better.
Dang it. All right. Well, I get there.
I could totally understand South Korea. There's just...
Right.
The North Korea thing would have blown my mind.
Right. So I have a story. Paul Ducklin from Naked Security. I find it quite interesting because I have a Tesla that's coming eventually. It was supposed to be picked up on Friday, but they're jacking me around here, and now I got to wait until Monday to pick it up. But so if you have an older model Tesla from mid 2017 era, and there's a vulnerability, so the replay type attack here, where the key fobs are not as secure as they could be. So. Security researchers at the Catholic University of Leuven. Oh crap! I'm sorry, people in Belgium. You can please tell me.
Belgian listeners?
Oh, we got tons of Belgium listeners. So Wim is over there.
I was going to say, it better
Mr.
be Wim.
Remus, yeah. Published a report on how easy it is to clone the Model X car keys. Apparently this affects all. I thought this also affected Model S's as well, but I could be wrong. So it's not as easy as you think to actually do this. It requires a rented computer time, about 5.5 terabytes of disk space, a suitable RFC or RFID hardware device, a small computer like a Raspberry Pi, and a missing conscience. It is possible, but you're going to need a little bit of time and effort to be able to get into the Model X key fobs.
Right.
So they were based on early 2000s technology. Which is the technology is based on 1990s era cryptography, so it probably uses like single DES or something.
It says don't knit your own crypto. Like that's like one of the things that everybody should know at this point, right?
Right.
Like you don't roll your own crypto. You use something that's already a proven standard.
Yep. Step 2 is don't roll your own authentication mechanism.
Yeah. Like I don't really get why that's still happening, especially in big companies.
Well, because people are like, stand
I'm
back.
super smarter than everybody else, and I could totally do this.
I totally won't do it.
No, like, if you're listening to this, you can't.
That's right.
I'm just saying right now.
That's right.
Don't do it.
That's right. So there was a cipher called DST40, which for those of you who are probably well aware, 40 is 40-bit. Which is not good enough in this day and age. So triple DES, I think, is at least 168. So that gives you an idea of how weak these ciphers are. So triple DES. Yeah, I want to make sure before I screw that pooch. 3-key triple des is, I believe, 168 bits. So if you have 3-key triple des is 168 bits. Otherwise, it's single key triple des is only 56, which isn't very good. So
yeah.
So yeah, if you want to play around in a Model X, you just need a little bit of time and effort and some computer power, and you can run around in it. But oh, excuse me. There are
don't do it to Brian's when he gets his.
What's that?
I said don't do it to yours.
No, my key fobs are going to be good. They said the Model 3s don't have this issue, and then the newer Model S's don't have it either. They've upgraded the key fobs, so I'm safer. I say safer because,
easier just to like carjack them, I imagine. True. But so the whole idea is very similar to how you do WPA2. You just sit there and listen and wait for the challenge and the key, check for the challenge response. And that narrows the key space down. And then once you get the second challenge response, that adds an additional layer. So, once you get both of the key challenge, the challenge response things, then, you can crunch what you need to make it happen. So, they are offering, I think, updates, to the Model X's. So you just have to go to your nearest Tesla dealership and they will send you, or they'll, give you, a new key fob that you can key to your car. Oh, so you have to pay for it, I think.
Well, if you've got a Model X, it's a pittance.
No, you should have to pay for it.
A Model X is what, $115,000. So,
yeah.
You want your car stolen, or do you want to be a little safer? So, that's on.
You have to figure out your risk threshold.
That's true. I mean, if you want to pay, I don't know how much a new key fob is. It may be, a couple $100 or something. So yeah. Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
I can give some updates on Derby.
Ooh, yes, please.
Do you want me to?
Mental health shop. Now, you said it's been completely canceled, and Dave told you to go pack sand, right?
Anybody with mental health problems just needs to not go to Derby.
Oh.
And nobody would go.
Yeah, that's not true. If you have mental health... No, wait. If you're an InfoSec, come to DerbyCon. If you bringing your emotional baggage with you, Miss Berlin is going to be helping.
Don't offload it on me. No, I'm joking.
She's going to help you, cope with it or help carry it a lot easier.
Yeah. So I guess we were going to share the space with the mental health workshop. The mental health workshop was going to share the space with the resume workshop. Mm-hmm. And now we don't have to because we both have our own rooms.
Wow.
Yeah. So now I can spread people out, and we have talks all day, both days, kind of, and some awesome thing like chair massages and therapy dog, and
cool.
People doing other like crafty things. And
now, when the one lady comes in with her service animal, you may want to take the massage dog out or the therapy dog out of the room. I'm just thinking,
Possibly.
Some service animals don't play well with other animals. So,
right.
Yeah. I'm going to be sitting at a vendor table for some part of DerbyCon. So,
we have awesome stuff for Brakesec that we're bringing.
We do. We may not be able to have it at the table, but we'll have it off in the back corner or something.
Find one of us, and we will give you something.
That's right. Yep.
As long as we still have it.
Yep. We'll have some T-shirts. We've got a few other things coming on that Miss Berlin got.
Stickers. We have really nice T-shirts, by the way.
Yeah, we got really nice stickers, too.
The tri-blend, super soft,
They better be worth it. They better be worth it.
I've already been wearing one.
After all the crap I had to go through to pay for the damn things, they better be freaking nice. Look, I get it. You're a small business owner, but in 2018, you should at least take credit cards.
Yeah.
Or PayPal or something.
Jeez,
oh, Pete, man. So,
when I got the box, I'm like, wow, that's not a lot of box for that much money.
How many boxes did you get?
Just one box. That's only 100 shirts.
Oh, my God. Well, they're all like baby baby T small or something? What?
No.
Oh.
It's a big box. I mean.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna have enough space in your mom-mobile to go down to Derby?
I rented an SUV.
Oh, okay.
So I have so many boxes right now. Like my front porch is full and my living room is full of boxes, and I still have a couple more things to buy. You
left stuff on the front porch of your house?
I did. It's nothing super expensive, so if it gets stolen, it's okay.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. Let me see.
And I have a camera out there, so.
Oh, well, that makes it better. It'll only warn you. Oh, uh-oh. Mr. Betcher replied back. Let's see what he said. Oh, no, I didn't know about it. Been working outside. Oh, it's okay. It's all right, man.
It's not all right.
Shh. No, it's okay. Working outside's important.
This moment.
Working outside's important, man.
And also, am I allowed to plug another con just for a friend of mine?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, can I?
Yep, sure.
Yeah, all right. So, besides Connecticut.
Oh, I saw that on Twitter today.
They're really looking for people to submit CFPs. So that's open right now. I am going to see if I can go, and I know it's in November.
Okay.
And I have a bunch of stuff in the next few months, so I don't know. But yeah, so if you're looking for a CFP to put in,
besides Connecticut,
it's great this time of year.
Yeah. So all of you folks in Northern Virginia, it's 90 minutes, 2 hours away.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole upper eastern
seaboard. 8 hours to conferences. I think 2-3 hours is fine.
Ooh, she threw the gauntlet. If I can do 8 hours, you can do 2.
Throwing shade.
Yeah. So they're in need of speakers. Is this the first year they've done this one?
No, this is they've had it for a couple of years now.
Okay, and it's in November, you said.
Yep.
Now I gotta go find it and put the link in the show notes.
Oh, I got it. I'll do it.
He does? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw the Twitter thing come down today, and they said, "Oh yeah, a few more days left on the CFP." You think they might extend it?
Maybe.
Oh, that's the one for 2017 for them. So.
That is definitely possible.
It's at the Fairfield University in Fairfield, Connecticut, just off I-95.
All right.
In Fairfield there.
You get breakfast?
Oh, they're going to have breakfast. Very nice. Milford, it's down, just down the street from New Haven. Okay. I seem to remember Connecticut being a lot larger than that when I was there. Looks like it's, okay. I can see that.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's not very big, Connecticut.
Well, Connecticut's not very big in general.
Right. I landed in Boston on a cruise a couple of years ago, and then we went down to Providence and Warwick and Newport News, that whole area. It was a nice area. Nice. All right.
I've never been to Connecticut. It's on my list of places to go.
Yeah, there you go. You can cross another state or two off your list there.
I know.
If you're going to drive, you're going to go through what? Pennsylvania and New York and...
I've been through all of those.
Oh. Well, it doesn't count just the airport.
I don't know. Do I get to go to like New Hampshire? I have not been in New Hampshire.
Well, I mean, you're like 2 miles from New Hampshire in Connecticut.
Vermont? I've not been to Vermont.
It's like right there. You could probably just stand in 3 states right there and just get all 3 at once.
It's just like the counties in Ohio, I imagine.
Right. Yeah. You could definitely run on over to Vermont and New Hampshire and
There's
Rhode
a bunch
Island.
of other little small states over there that I can never remember too, right?
Yeah, you can run over and get on Paul Security Weekly and hang out in the audience for reals. So
yes.
All right. Well, I think we're done for the week. This one was a little light because we got so much excellent feedback from Chris Hadniggy's interview last 2 weeks. That was awesome. There's a lot of people were very pleased with that. Picked up the book. If you're interested in buying that book, you can go check out the show notes. Both weeks, I think I just put the same show notes for both weeks. But really excellent feedback on his book and the Innocent Lives Foundation and and all that. So, yeah, hit up Human Hacker. He's going to be speaking at DerbyCon as well, and some of his folks are going to be giving a workshop, which is obviously sold out, but they're going to be there. You can talk and chat them up if you're going to go to Derby, or reach out to them on Twitter. They're fairly they respond quite well to questions if you have them. So
we have to also figure out our pizza party thing, when that's going to happen at
yes, and our podcast with podcasters. It's our
podcast with
third annual, fourth annual.
No,
yeah, that's awesome.
I snuck my way into the first one, and I didn't even have a podcast.
You did. It was just on hiatus or whatever. So
what?
Well, you were doing
I guess
you were doing the Hurricane Labs podcast or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I only went on there twice.
Oh, well, that's okay. The landscape changes so quickly with podcasts.
It does.
Yeah. So, for Brakesec listeners, I don't plug other podcasts, but I've been listening to one recently that I've enjoyed. Graham Cluley and Kroll Terrio. That's Smashing Security. That is hilarious. They're over in England. Oh my God, it's funny. Yeah, they have people on, and yeah, it's just amazing.
Should we try and be funnier?
I don't think that's possible. I think we've hit max funny.
So we're more funny than they are then, right?
Well, they're British humor, which I enjoy quite a bit. All right. And there's a little bit of innuendo, but it's not bad. And Kroll actually does quite well zinging Graham Cluley from time to time. So
very cool.
So yeah, go check it out. Smash In Security on Twitter if you want to check them out. No G, just Smash In Security. So, all right. Well, now that we're talking about Twitter handles, Ms. Berlin, how would people get a hold of you if they wanted to?
At Infosister, INFOSYSTIR on Twitter, or our wonderful Slack channel that is ever growing, and I can never keep up with all the people in it.
Yeah, we're just shy of 1,500 accounts created on there. So yeah, it's very interesting. Yep. So, Mr. Betcher, of course, he's always a valued member of the show, but he was out doing yard work or something for his lovely wife, Mrs. Betcher. And you can find him on Twitter at BetcherPwned, BoettCherPwned. You can follow Brakesec on Twitter at Brakesec, BRAKESEC. And you can follow me at Brian Brake, BRYANBRAKE. And we have a TPub store. So, if you can't get to DerbyCon and buy a shirt, the ones on TPub are actually quite nice, quite good quality. You can buy one of a traditional podcast with Breaking Down Security on it, or you can get one with Miss Berlin's face, which is still selling like gangbusters as well.
There's been 3 sold, I think, so far.
Well, I bought 2 of them, so yeah. I'm going to wear a hot pink.
You and your wife wear those to bed.
Yeah, exactly. Hot pink.
It.
Yeah.
I know it.
I have one taped to the ceiling, so it's the last thing I see when I go to sleep at night. First thing I see when I wake up. Yeah. So if you are interested in joining our Slack, which has a lot of people on it, we do a lot of things. We have the Sim Club with Mr. Scott Pack. We have Book Club, which we're just finishing up. Practical Pact Analysis. We have a European book club and a U.S. book club. So if you're in the European Union and you want to join a book club, JB's running that. And he'll still be running it even when he moves back to the States, because he likes to just help out as much as he can. So we appreciate him. We appreciate David Sybuck and JB and Scott Peck and Megan Roddy. Yes. And yeah, they're all of our moderators on there, and you can hit us up at bds.podcast@gmail.com, or just send a DM to Brakesec on Twitter, and we'll get you hooked up. So, yes. Like I said before, thank you to our patrons for helping us out with helping to pay the bills and keeping the lights on here at Brakesec World Headquarters. And I think that's it. Oh, we're on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Please leave feedback where you can, because that helps spread the word. Give us visibility. So, all right, that's it for this week. Everyone, this has been Breaking Down Security. Have a great week. Be nice to one another, please, and we will talk to you again soon.
Bye.